Hello my fellow dinos, Josh here with Jurassic Impact, bringing you guys some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, and today we're going to be discussing the new Primal Burst, the new main box set that is coming to Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, I believe on the 31st, which is in, depending on where you are in the world right now, 2 to 3 days away. So I hope you guys all enjoy this review. We're going to try and go through it as fast as possible so we don't waste too much time. Primal Burst, rage burns inside its molten core. Doomfire shall scourge the lands. Alright, so again, we're going to be checking out the website. I will have this in the link in the description below as well, even though you guys can grab this from the actual news inside of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. So, we're going to go ahead and talk about the URs, the SRs, and we'll briefly go over just sporadically a few random rares and normals just to kind of dip into it a little bit. We'll go over those cards more when we actually do the box openings. So, some of the things you can do here: Volcanic Doomfire plus Tri-Blaze Accelerator plus Volcanic Rocket, Dark World Lightning plus Roley, Guru of the Dark World plus Rain, Ba, Overlord of the Dark World. So, some combos that they show you, they always do that. But let's go ahead and dive right into it. Alright, so our first UR here is Dark World Lightning, a normal spell card. Target one set card on the field, destroy that target, then discard one card. Okay, so as we did in the last video that you guys actually enjoyed was my 5-star rating. So we will do 5-star ratings for all the rares and for all the URs and the SRs. So this card in particular, I will give this a 3 out of 5. And why I say that is because, for one, it targets. Some cards in the game don't like it when you try to target them, so they will negate it. So targeting could be an issue. Another thing is it is going to cost you a card as well. You will have to discard. Now, depending on how you use this card, there are cards that like to be discarded. So therefore, I guess, now that I think about it, I'll bump this up to a 3.5 out of 5, because there is a few decks that do require and love for you to actually put cards in a graveyard. So in that regard, this card could be useful in that deck. Really, really good. And the fact that you can destroy a set card on the field is really awesome. Now, keep in mind, when it says destroy one set card, that can even be a monster. It says one set card on the field. It doesn't say it has to be a back row. So keep that in mind. You can basically nuke anything on the field. If you're using this with Mind Scan, you'll know exactly what you're nuking. So this card could see a lot of play. This is not a bad card at all. That's why it's getting a modest 3.5 out of 5. It's just that discarding factor could cause you some issues depending on what deck you run this card in. Though, let's go to the next one. We got Volcanic Doomfire. This is the card everyone is just ablaze about. Yeah, there's a pun. There's probably a bad pun. But this is a Pyro effect, double tribute, fire attribute, 3,000 attack, 1,800 defense. This card cannot be normal summoned or set. This card can only be special summoned by sending a face-up Tri-Blaze Accelerator you control to the graveyard. During your opponent's battle phase, your opponent must attack this monster with any attack position monster they control. When this card destroys a monster and sends it to the graveyard, destroy all monsters your opponent controls and inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each monster destroyed by this effect. So this is basically your burn deck, aka Volcanic Doomfire. This guy is basically a burn deck on his own, and not only is he going to burn your opponent's life points, he's going to burn your opponent's monsters. This card is really, really good. This guy is getting a 5 out of 5, and I do not throw 5 out of 5s too often, but this guy doesn't really take that much to get onto the field. He's 3,000 attack, and he forces your opponent to say, hey, come at me, bro, and I'm gonna burn your ass down. And that is beautiful. Very, very awesome card. Cannot wait to see the deck builds with this bad boy. This deck could become another Cyber Angels or Taya Burn, where we're just like, no, please don't make me do it again. Alright, here we go, guys. That card's amazing. Alright, so now we have a 3-star Earth attribute. You are Spell Striker, Warrior effect, 600 attack, 200 defense. You can special summon this card from your hand by banishing one spell card from your graveyard. This card can attack directly. You take no battle damage from attacks involving this card. So this could be a card that could really supplement like people that are running rabbits, you know, stuff like that. You could also run this card with, I'm trying to think what is the skill, right back at you with Merrick. A lot of cool little things you can do with this. to, you know, try and pick at your opponent's life points, because it can attack directly. The only thing it doesn't have that good secondary effect like the other cards that we're already using now, where they can come back to your hand because they're a spirit, or they can get banished after they attack directly, then come back your next turn. You don't really have that kind of thing going for them, but still a nice little card. I'm not really sure it's worthy of a UR, to be completely honest, but it could see some play in decks like that like to nitpick at your life points, especially with the field spell that makes you do like 1,000 damage every time. This card could be useful there as well, but like I said, he doesn't have that good secondary effect that the other two did to kind of keep itself relevant and being reused over and over again. So therefore, this is only getting a 2 out of 5. It will see some play. It is pretty good. It's not hard to summon, but it just lacks that secondary effect to really make it useful for what it's trying to do, for the gimmick that it's trying to oppose into your opponent. So therefore, I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5. It's not a bad card, but it's not going to be anything that's amazing, especially nothing that's worthy of a UR, making you have to go through the box set 3 times or multiple times and try and get it. So multiple times, that is. So Alright, now we got Volcanic Rock, 4-star, 1900 attack. So Pyro and Fire and Pyro are getting some love here in this box set, some much needed love. I have a feeling Bastion's going to see a lot of playtime here in the coming weeks. And he'll see even more at the end of January when he gets that buff on all of his field spell skills. So, yeah, you're definitely going to see a lot of Bastion Volcanic decks going on, I think. I would assume. When this card is summoned, you can add 1 Blaze Accelerator card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So, he's also going to do some deck thinning for you to help you try and get out your other Volcanic monsters, which is pretty awesome. He's a Pyro, 4-star, 1900 off the bat. Very, very good card. Definitely worthy of the UR because of what he can do, what he's going to do for his deck that he's going to be in, how useful he's going to be with that Bastion field spell skill, and maybe any other skill that you really want to run. So, definitely going to be pretty cool. I definitely like this card. I'm going to go ahead and give this card a 4 out of 5. It's got great stats. It's got a great effect. Helps you deck thin. Deck thinning is winning, of course. And it doesn't cost anything to put onto the field. So, therefore, definitely a good card. Probably a must-have. 2-3 copies of if you want to run that particular Volcanic deck. Be very, very good and exceptional. So, yeah, definitely 4 out of 5 right there for me, for sure. Alright, so we got Cloudian, Eye of the Typhoon, win attribute. He's a double tribute. Now, guys, when I say double tribute, I don't mean that it has to be double tribute or that it can be double tribute summoned, because some of them don't. It's an easy way to tell what the star level is. You know, that's how I kind of go about it. So, just want to kind of clear up that confusion. This is another UR as well. This is an Aqua effect. 3,000 attack, 1,000 defense. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. If this card is in face-up defense position, destroy it. When this card declares an attack, change the battle position of all face-up monsters except Cloudian monsters. Now, this card I'm not really too excited about because all it's going to take is 1 econ and this card's done. So, I know I might trigger some people here, but I'm only going to give this card right off the bat a 2.5 out of 5, maybe a 3 if I want to give it, if I want to upscale it a little bit, because it does have a really good attack potential, and its secondary effect could be kind of be useful depending on what type of deck you're putting it in. But if it gets put in defense, it's done, and a simple econ from your opponent, and that's game over. Then all the work you did putting this guy into the field was, well, completely useless. So, yeah, I'm not really a big fan of this card at all. Definitely not going to be trying to chase this card down for sure. I just know everyone under the sun is running econs in their decks, and this guy's basically, you get econ, he's done. So, not a fan. So now we got Gaia, Plate, the Earth Giant, another double tribute, Earth attribute. You are Rock in effect. So Rock's getting some love. His attack is 2,800, defense 1,000. You can special summon this card by removing from play any 2 rock-type monsters in your graveyard. During your standby phase, remove from play 1 rock-type monster in your graveyard or send this card to the graveyard. Have the attack and defense of any monster that battles with this card. This card is really awesome. He's not going to require a lot to get out onto the field, like at all. And his stats, or his attack stat at the very least, is pretty modest. I would like the defense to be a little bit higher because I do know that there's a lot of cards in this game that are putting people in defense. And because of that, I feel like a lot of cards that have these really good attack potential and low defense can kind of hurt you in the later in the duel, because if you're getting put in defense a lot, they're going to get over you pretty easily. So you're going to have to run a lot of back row protection for yourself, even though you're getting these high-level monsters out easily. If they get put into defense for whatever reason, you got to protect them because their defense is pretty low. So because of these defenses being so low, I mean, it kind of knocks a little bit of the points off for me for these particular cards. But I'm definitely going to give this another 4 out of 5, definitely for sure, because he's not hard to summon. He's got a pretty good effect. His gimmick is really, really good. And he could be kind of slid into really any rock deck you want. You could even technically put this guy in an Elemental Hero, or not Elemental Hero, Magnet Warrior deck. You could run this guy in a Magnet Warrior deck, and he'd be pretty good, actually. So definitely a really, really good card indeed. Curious to see what kind of build you'll get from this, but I feel like some people might actually tech this in, like a secret tech into a Magnet Warrior deck, because Magnet Warriors are definitely coming around now, especially with the Bones Field Spell skill. So yeah, we'll see. It's a pretty cool card. Alright, we got Lila, the Lightsworn Sorceress. And I know a lot of people are getting hyped up because now they're like, oh my god, Lightsworns are in Duel Links already. Oh my, OMG, you know? So we got our first Lightsworn in Duel Links here. It's a 4-star, spellcaster effect, 1700 attack, 200 defense, another UR, light attribute. You can target one spell trap card your opponent controls. This card's battle position cannot be changed until the end of your next turn. Also, change this card you control from face-up attack position to face-up defense position, and if you do destroy that target once per turn during your end phase, send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. So this card kind of can mill you out in a harsh way. Lightsworns are very well known for milling, for sure. That's why you mostly see, if you see like in the TCG, you'll see a lot of people that are running like Lightsworns. They're running almost full-size decks because, you know, the maximum amount you can run, because these cards will mill you like crazy. Now, in terms of that, it probably could be a good thing depending on what you're running. But, I mean, we'll see. I mean, that's a really big backdrop, though. Drawback, I should say, in Duel Links, because you're only running mostly a 20-card deck. But if you're running 3 Lilas, you might want to consider running 25, possibly 30, because of that secondary effect, or that secondary effect of losing 3 cards from the top of your deck to your graveyard. Could be interesting, seeing maybe this could breathe a little bit of a new life of a new type of deck into Aroma Strategy, perhaps, or Prescience, I believe the skill name for Ishizu. Could see some play with this card as well. I'm gonna go ahead and give this card a 3 out of 5. I mean, it does have some good quirks to it. It does have a little bit, it is pretty gimmicky, but it does have its uses. It definitely does. I could see it getting a little bit of play, not too much probably, not yet, until we get like other Lightsworns and Lightsworn support and stuff like that. But definitely a pretty cool card overall. It's definitely something different, new. It'll definitely breathe new life into some kind of a new deck build that we haven't had before in Duel Links, for sure. So I'm very curious to see what people do with this card. At the very least, it's interesting. So 3 out of 5 for me. Alright, so we got Snow, Unlight of Dark World. Now I'm kind of excited about these Dark World cards. Like, I got a lot of crazy ideas for them. I know a lot of people might be overlooking them, but I definitely got some crazy ideas. Now this is a 1700 attack, Fiend, 4-star, Dark Attribute, UR. If this card is discarded to the graveyard by a card effect, if it was discarded from your hand to your graveyard by an opponent's card effect, you can target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, add 1 Dark World card from your deck to your hand. Then special summon that target, if any, in face-up defense position. Now, to keep note with some of these, the skill in particular, you cannot do any special summoning unless your opponent's card effect sends it to the graveyard. But if you send it to the graveyard with your monster's effect, which you could easily do that in a Fiend Farewell deck, not using Fiend Farewell itself, but using your other Fiend monsters that would send them to the grave, like we do already with Fiends to try and quickly get out our Necrofear, then you could actually search for another Dark World card from your deck and add it to your hand. So you can actually self-search with this using your own monster's effect, but if your opponent does it, which is probably going to be very rare, if ever, then you can actually special summon monsters. So, very cool card. I don't really know if it's worthy of a UR, because that secondary effect you may never get off, and if you do, it'll probably be very rare. But then again, Saphira decks might be a thing now that Cyber's getting a nerf. So you might actually see that secondary effect get off sometimes, but I'm not really sure if it's worthy of a UR. Probably an SR. I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 3 out of 5, maybe 3.5 out of 5, because it does give you that milling, and it does allow you to grab additional Dark World cards from your deck down to your hand. And of course, thinning is winning, guys, in Duel Links. So very useful card. Could be good for a Fiend Farewell deck. Alright, now we got Gem Knight Master Diamond, double tribute, fusion, earth attribute, UR, 2900 attack, 2500 defense. Now those are stats I'm more happy with because I like more balanced stats like that. You need 3 Gem Knight monsters to fusion summon this guy. He's a rock as well. Must first be fusion summoned. This card gains 100 attack for each gem monster in your graveyard. Once per turn, you can banish one level 7 or lower Gem Knight fusion monster from your graveyard until the end phase. This card's name becomes that monster's and replace the effect with that monster's original effect. So, of course, this is going to be bringing into another new archetype, I believe, into Duel Links, which will be Gem Knights. So it's kind of too early to really see where this guy's going to be able to go deck-wise because, of course, he's going to be missing a lot of support since this is kind of a new archetype in Duel Links. So my rating is going to probably be a little bit borderline iffy because it could technically be better in a short period of time, or it could be worse. It really depends. But, you know, first glance and what we could really do with this guy, I'm going to go ahead and give him a 3 out of 5 because I want to give him a number that really represents that he does got good stats. However, he still does require 3 Gem Knight monsters, and that could be problematic. That is quite a hefty toll to pay to get this guy on the field. But then again, that secondary effect could be really, really good later on. And if you're in late game and you got a lot of Gem Knights in the grave, that 100 attack for each could also be very beneficial. So that's why I want to give him kind of like a midline rank at 3, or I'm sorry, a midline ranking at 3.5, or I'm sorry, at 3 out of 5 rating. So yeah, we'll go with that. Still not a bad card. I'm really loving fusions. I really want fusions to be really good in this game. To be honest, Forbidden Dress. Now this is a quick play spell. You are target one face-up monster on the field until the end of this turn. That target loses 600 attack, but cannot be targeted or destroyed by other card effects. So this could be very useful in certain decks. That target loses 600 attack could be interesting because not only could you use it on your opponent to make them lose 600 to go for like to get over them, you could also use it on your own monster if you're playing against, say like a relinquished deck, for example, because they cannot be targeted by or destroyed by other card effects, which is very interesting. And if you're playing those annoying Weevil decks that just have a whole bunch of back row that's targeting you to make you stop, like Massive Morph or Draining Shield, stuff like that, this card could come in really, really handy. So Forbidden Dress, very, very good card. It's going to be very flexible. So because of it being flexible, it can be used in several different deck types, deck builds, you know, on and on and on. So I'm definitely going to give this probably a 4 out of 5 as well. Very useful card. It's not a world beater. It's not gonna, you know, it's not gonna set the world on fire by any means, but it definitely is a very good tech card, and it's quick play. So that's also a benefit because now you can play it on either your turn or your opponent's. So that's really, really awesome. So I'm definitely gonna give it a 4 out of 5. Definitely good. All right, now we're into the SRs. We got Kaiser Glider, single attribute, light attribute, dragon effect. Looks like a mini Dragon Raw. 2400 attack, 2200 defense. Very good stats, to be honest. Cannot be destroyed by battle with a monster that has the same attack. So, a Red Eyes, for example, with no added boost, cannot destroy this monster by battle. If this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, target one monster on the field, return that target to the hand. So, he has a really good secondary effect as well, especially for a dragon. I could totally see this guy being rocked in a Kinmodo deck with peak performance. I mean, that puts him at 2600, which is pretty cool. He's also a light attribute, so you could make it some kind of a light dragon deck, for example, using what is it? I'm having a brain fart, guys. I do apologize. The Mokuba skill to level up. My God, Monster Morph, for crying out loud. Because then you could run a 7-star light dragon, which then you could take into an 8-star light dragon, you know, depending on how you run that deck. So, I mean, there's a lot of different things you can do with Kaiser Glider. I really like Kaiser Glider. I really do like dragons. You guys know I'm a big fanboy of dragons. And his stats aren't really all that bad. 2400 attack, 2200 defense. That's pretty modest stats. I'm definitely going to go ahead and give this guy, I'm going to give this guy a 3.5. I would give him a 3, but that additional effect to target one monster in the field, return that target to the hand if he is destroyed and sent to the graveyard. And as you can see, it's not if he's destroyed by battle. It just says if he's destroyed and sent. So he could be destroyed by a card effect as well, and he'll still get his effect off. So very, very good card for sure. So yeah, 3.5 sounds very fair. 3.5 out of 5 for me on that. All right, Mist Archfiend. Got some more Archfiends, baby. All right, this is a single attribute, dark attribute, fiend effect, 2400 attack, 0 defense. You guys know what I think about low defensive stats. It could be very risky. You can normal summon this card without tributing. If you do, during the end phase, it's destroyed and you take 1000 damage. So, keep in mind, guys, that secondary effect is extremely bad. But, depending on what type of deck build you're running, sending a fiend to the graveyard because he'll be destroyed at the end phase, and you take 1000 damage, both those things could be beneficial in certain type of deck builds. So his secondary effect isn't actually that bad depending on what you're using him for, but the fact that you can just throw a 2400 beater on the field and use him for nothing, and he can actually attack with no drawback to his attacking, and none of the back draws come into play until the end phase, this card could be a really good end game, you know, go for game, OTK type of thing when it comes to fiends. Could you imagine throwing this guy in the field with a Necrofear and then just go for game like that or something? That'd be crazy. For sure, a pretty cool card. Definitely love his gimmick. It's something interesting, and it's literally a 2400 attack monster you can just throw in the field and attack with. Like, that's crazy. So, I mean, I do like this card. I do like it. And because of the drawback, it may not be good for everyone's deck builds. Because of that, I'll go ahead and give this one a 3.5 as well. I would like to give him a 4 because, I mean, just getting an instant 2400 beater because you want to in a Fiend deck is really, really cool. And him getting destroyed at the end phase, you could chain that to other card effects and stuff like that as well. So, I mean, there's a lot of things you could really do with this guy that could be fun. So, I really want to put him at a 4. But just to be on the safe side, because of that drawback for some of you, I will put him at a 3.5. But definitely a really, really cool and interesting SR. Alright, we got Release from Storm, Continuous Trap card. Select one of your removed from play rock-type monsters and special summon it. When this card is removed from the field, destroy that monster. When that monster is destroyed, destroy this card. So, it's another card that has to stay on the field, much like Birthright, for example. Bringing back a remove from play rock-type monster. I'm not really too big of a fan. I'm not really a big fan of the cards that require itself to stay on the field in a back row that you can only have 3 cards in. But, again, it could be a game saver. It's not really a game changer, but it could definitely be a game saver. I'll give this one a 3. 2.5 is really more where it probably deserves, but I'm going to be nice. I'm being lenient today on my rating, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a 3 out of 5. Nothing really to write home about. Could be useful, of course. Alright, we got Dark Neftis. Dark Neftis. Oh my goodness! That art looks beautiful. But this is a double tribute, Dark Attribute, Winged Beast effect, 2400 attack, 1600 defense. And my throat is getting sore, guys. Whoo, we're up to 23 minutes. If you have 3 or more dark monsters in your graveyard, add this in this card in your hand. You can banish 2 of them from your graveyard. Send this card from your hand to the graveyard. During your next standby phase, after this card was sent to the graveyard by this effect, special summon this card from the graveyard. When this card is special summoned, target 1 spell or trap card on the field, destroy that target. This is somewhat of like a lesser version of Phoenix, which makes sense because it's another Neftis. But, so I'm not, I still feel that, to me, Phoenix is still better than this. But I do like that its gimmick is if you have 3 or more dark monsters in your graveyard, add this card in your hand. So, yeah, so his conditions to be summoned are a lot, his special summoning conditions are a lot harder to follow up on than Phoenix, and his effect is a lot less relevant. I don't know about this card. I feel like Phoenix is definitely just superior to this card. And because there's already a better version of what this card can do and easier to summon in this game, it kind of just makes me think this card, I don't know. I'm not getting any good vibes from it right now. I know this card is going to be decent. It could do some things. It can for sure put some work in. But it's just, Phoenix is just better, in my opinion. I know some of you may disagree with me, but man, Phoenix just feels like a much better version of this card. A lot easier to summon. I mean, I really want to give this card some love, but I just can't because I know Phoenix exists in this game. So, and as you guys can see, the missus is asking me what I want for breakfast because it's 2:20 a.m. in the morning. So I do apologize. Shout out to the missus. But anyways, guys, so yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give this one probably 2.5 out of 5 just because there's just something better already available to us in the game. You know, it just makes me not care if I pull it because of that. All right, we got Jane, Lightsworn Paladin. So we got another Paladin. I thought I was only getting one Paladin, so wow, I kind of completely missed that. So we got another Lightsworn Paladin, 4-star light attribute, attack 1800, defense 1200. If this card attacks an opponent's monster, it gains 300 attack during the damage step only. Once per turn during your end phase, send the top 2 cards of your deck to your graveyard. So again, the Lightsworn gimmick is to mill. But this guy in a Joey Wheeler deck is technically going to be 2300 attack. Because when you attack, that is. Because during the damage step, he's going to gain 300, plus he'd gain 200 from the field spell skill. So you could be a 2300 just beater warrior, which is pretty cool. You can do some things with him, but again, he's going to mill you, so you're going to have to watch out for that. I'm going to give him 3 out of 5. I'm just trying to speed this up a little bit, guys. Jirac, Titano. You guys know how I feel about dinos, baby. But it feels like Konami doesn't want to give us any of the good dinos yet. But this is a fire attribute, double tribute. Cannot be special summoned, which is a problem already. He's a dinosaur effect. 3,000 attack, 2,000 defense. Great stats. Don't get me wrong. Cannot be targeted by trap or monster effects. Once per turn, you can banish one Jirac monster with 1,700 or less attack from your graveyard. This card gains 1,000 attack until the end of phase. So, I mean, this guy could be like 4,000 attack, like, easily. And then with the field spell, he'd be like 4,300 or 3,300 right off the bat with over 3k defense, which is really, really good stats. It's just he cannot be special summoned. And that, to me, feels like a big issue with the current support we have for dinos. Because of that, I'm going to have to give him a 3 out of 5. My fellow dino, I have to give you a 3 out of 5 just because you cannot be special summoned. And dinos still lack chemistry in this game. Dinos still lack a lot of chemistry. You can't even run all the dinos together because they don't work well with each other. You can only run fragments of different dinos with other decks to make them even viable. Like Sergeant Electro is in most dino decks right now, which makes them not even a dino deck to begin with. So hopefully we're slowly going to start getting more into the good dinos that are actually got good chemistry and can be useful. Still really cool art, badass. The name is Titano, awesome. It's just not being able to be special summoned. He's a double tribute, yada yada yada, a million different things that is just going to go wrong trying to run this guy consistently with dinos right now, unfortunately. Jirac, Gaiba, or Guiba, or Guiba. I probably butchered that. It's fine. Anyway, so this is some of the Jirac support that they were talking about to work with the other card. It is an SR, unfortunately, though. So if you're even wanting to build this Jirac deck, you're really going to have to go in this box pretty well to get, multiple copies of all these cards. This is a 4-star fire attribute, 1,700 attack, dinosaur. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can special summon one Jirac monster with 1,700 or less attack from your deck, but it cannot declare an attack this turn. So it's almost got the other dino's gimmick, except that dino that you special summon with it cannot attack as well. So the OTK factor is off the table with this guy, but still pretty cool. He's gonna be a 2k attack with the field spell. I'm definitely glad that they are giving dinos some more love here recently in the last couple box sets, but I feel like they're just still not giving us the good ones. Oh, by the way, that rating on that card was another 3 out of 5. Actually, I'd probably give that one a 3.5 because it does have deck thinning and allows you to swarm the field. So I'll give that one actually a 3.5. So now we got Gem Knight, Prismara, which is another Gem Knight, 2450, 1400 defense. Is a fusion, earth attribute, thunder fusion effect, 1 gem monster plus 1 thunder type monster, which is really good because you can run Thunder Dragon. Must first be fusion summoned. Once per turn, you can send 1 Gem Knight card from your hand to the graveyard to target 1 face-up card on the field, destroy the target. Now, this one is a lot better. I feel like this one is a better Gem Knight fusion than the other one, than the UR. And I would probably give this one a 3.5, possibly a 4 out of 5, because that's an actual good effect. Very, very good effect. And it features graveyard with your Gem Knights for that other fusion if you do want to run a multiple fusion Gem Knight deck. And his stats aren't all that bad. I mean, his defense is really low, of course, but it only requires 1 Thunder type and 1 Gem Knight, which is a lot more manageable. And 2450 attack, not bad. And you can destroy a target on the, you can destroy 1 face-up card on the field. That's awesome. Because most of the time you're probably going to go for a monster. So, yeah, definitely 3.5, 4 out of 5 on that one. Not a bad fusion at all. Alright, now we got Roley, Guru of Dark World, 1 star, 100 attack, 300 defense, Fiend effect, Dark attribute. If this card is discarded to the graveyard by a card effect, special summon this card from the graveyard to your opponent's side of the field in face-up defense position. When this card is special summoned by the effect of a Dark World card, your opponent must discard 1 card. So, it definitely has opponent milling effect. And it could load up your opponent's field with a garbage monster, basically, which, if they're not running tributes, could be really, really good and beneficial for you. As well as if you're trying to run a Fiend Burn deck, perhaps, with Lava Golem. So you're going to load up your opponent's field with that and do things crazy. So I'm going to give this card probably a 3 out of 5. It's not bad, but it's, other than its gimmick, being able to put it on your opponent's side of the field or possibly get them to mill a card, this card's pretty bad other than that exact feature that you're going to use it for. So you're only going to use this in a specialized deck. And because of that, it's going to be very limited usage. So I will definitely probably give this card a 2.5. I don't want to be too harsh to give it a 2, but I will give it a 2.5. Nothing special, but it definitely could be useful in certain situations. Alright, we got Earth Armor Ninja. So we got a new ninja. 5-star ninja. Haha, single tribute. Warrior effect, Earth attribute. If your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters, you could special summon this card from your hand. Now this could be very useful because if you go second and you got this guy, boom, you could throw a 1600 ninja. Now the problem with this ninja is, though, yes, he can be special summoned, but he's only 1600 attack. He's got low stats. Now what is interesting, though, is running this in a beatdown deck, because then he will be a base 1900. And if you have multiple of these on the field, you can do some cool things. But again, you can only special summon him if you have no monsters and your opponent does. So the swarming effect of this card, it gets limited because of that. But he also can be used very efficiently with beatdown because you can put him on the field early and then load up your field with other 4-star monsters, and then you can still use that beatdown effect. So I mean, there's things you can do with him, but 1600 attacks for just a special summon warrior. There's so much better special summon monsters in the game that can be special summon similar or even faster than this, more efficiently, and have better attack stats and defensive stats and better effects. So I'm not really feeling this ninja, to be honest. I mean, it would be good, to be able to throw this guy out and then throw out another ninja, have 2 ninjas on the field, and then throw some ninja back row. Yeah, it's definitely going to be good for sure. It's just this card helps the ninja deck slightly, but doesn't improve it all that much, and it's not a good card individually. So therefore I'm only going to give it a 2.5. I don't even think I can even muster up the kindness to give it a 3, to be honest. It just, I don't know. It just doesn't seem that special to me, to be honest, especially as an SR. Ugh. I don't know. I don't know how I really feel about that, but I mean, we'll see. It's definitely going to get some play, but I don't know. So we got Gem Knight, Serafinity. He said that 3 times. Earth attribute, single tribute, Fairy Fusion effect, 1 Gem Knight monster plus 1 Light monster, 2300 attack, 1400 defense. Must be first fusion summon with the above fusion material monsters during your main phase. You can normal summon set 1 monster in addition to your normal summon. You can only gain this effect once per turn. So this card allows you to have swarming. So another good effect. This could allow you to basically just load up your field with 3 monsters. Turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, whatever turn you're on. Very good for swarming. Because of that, I'm going to probably give it a 3.5. I want to, like, the other one I wanted to give closer to a 4 because I still feel that it was better. But that swarming factor with this card is really, really good. I actually like that, to be honest. Yeah, I'm definitely going to give this 3.5 for sure. Almost 4. If it just had a little bit better stats for, I probably would have. But, man, it's really, really good. And what's interesting is Thunder Dragon is still a light monster. If I'm not going crazy. I could be going crazy, who knows. But, man, bam, bam, bam. Goes from the past trap card. Banish 2 monsters from your graveyard, then target 1 face-up attack position monster on the field. Its attack becomes 0 until the end of this turn. No. 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 You could just use a Curse of Anubis with a normal deck and then do better than this. I'm sorry, 2 out of 5. I'm just going to go right past. I mean, yeah, there could be some situations where banishing 2 monsters could be useful if you're running a banished deck where you require monsters to be banished. You can special summon them. Then this card would be good for you, but that's a very situational card for a very situational deck. So, very limited. I'm just going to give it a 2. I don't know. I'm not... Because this card's going to take a lot of setup. And, yeah... 2 out of 5. I'm sorry. I just got to go past that. And then we'll just talk about the first couple rares, and then we'll get out of here because we've talked for long enough. 36 minutes, guys. Cybernetic Magician, single tribute, light attribute, spellcaster, 2400 attack, 1000 defense. You can discard 1 card to target 1 face-up monster on the field. That target's attack becomes 2000 until the end phase. So if you discard 1 card, you can actually make another card on your side of the field, 2000 attack, which is very interesting because then this opens the door up for some possible OTK factors, or even if you're trying to get over a really high level monster that's like 3000 plus or whatever, you can make it 2000 and get over with this guy. So very cool card. I actually like the gimmick. It's pretty interesting. He's only a single tribute. If you run this guy in a Fiend Jester or whatever, you can get this guy up pretty quick. Not bad card. I'll give it 3.5 out of 5 actually. It's pretty cool. I actually like it. Pretty cool gimmick there. And then we got Nano Breaker. This is gonna be the last card we're gonna talk about in this video. It's a machine effect. Pretty sexy machine if you ask me, you know what I'm saying? Android 18. I'm just joking. 4-star Earth attribute. If this card attacks a face-up level 3 or lower monster, destroy that monster immediately with this card's effect without applying damage calculation. So that's pretty cool. If we were running on a lot of level 3 meta, this card would have been very useful back in the day when Jerry Bean Man was the card to play. This card would have been exceptional. Stats aren't too bad for a machine though. 1600 attack, 1800 defense, not bad, but nothing special there. Probably a 2.5 for me. Unless level 3 becomes a really big thing here. Level 3 or lower in this game, but we'll see. Anyways, hope you guys all enjoyed that box set review. I hope you guys agreed with most of my ratings. If you didn't, let me know in the comment section below what your guys' ratings are for certain cards. Feel free to ask any questions. What do you guys think about this box set? Let me know as well. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. Join our Discord, which is in the description below as well. We're almost at 900, guys. I think we're like 880 or 890, getting somewhere around there, close. So hope you guys all enjoyed as always. Drop a like on the video and subscribe again if you're new. Until next time, peace.